He was asleep when the pounding came. The clock on his bedside table glowed 2:17 a.m. A sudden knock at his door was loud enough to startle him awake. Rain tapped against the window. He rose from his bed, heart thudding. The corridor outside was dark. He could hear the wind howl, carrying drops of rain that rattled against the door. He eased the lock and opened the door. Standing on his small porch, under a flickering porch light, was a young woman. She was soaked from head to toe. Her hair clung to her face in wet strands. Her clothes looked strange, as if they were woven from light. The fabric shifted in soft, rainbow-like colors whenever she moved. Her eyes were wide and frightened. He froze for a moment. He had never seen someone wearing such odd garments. "Excuse me," he said, voice trembling. The woman took a shaky breath and stepped forward. "Protect me, human," she said, barely above a whisper. Her voice was foreign, but somehow he understood her words perfectly. He blinked. "Human?" he repeated. I do not understand." She looked at him with desperate eyes. "Hunters. They come. They take. Protect me, human." Her hands shook as she spoke. She pointed at herself and then at him as if to make sure he knew she meant him. He swallowed. "Come in," he said, stepping aside. He grabbed his own coat and closed the door behind her. He locked it quickly. The sound of the rain on the roof was louder now, as if the house itself was holding its breath. Inside, he turned on a small lamp in the hallway. The light was warm and soft. He reached for a towel on a nearby hook. The woman's body shook as he wrapped the towel around her shoulders. She let the towel fall over her arms, shivering. The towel was thin and smelled of laundry detergent, but it was dry. She clutched it around her as if it were a shield. He led her into the living room. His home was modest. A couch sat against one wall, a bookshelf against another. There was a small table with a lamp. He gestured to a chair. "Sit," he said. "Please." She sank into the chair and put her face into her hands. The towel slipped onto her lap, pooling like a damp puddle. He pulled a second towel from a closet and set it on the arm of the chair. She lifted her head. Her face was pale. Her eyes had dark circles under them, like she had not slept in days. He set the dry towel gently over her legs. "Are you hurt?" he asked. He noticed bruises on her arms, pale and greenish. "Your arms? Are you injured?" She closed her eyes for a moment, as if the question pained her. When she opened them, she looked at him and shook her head. "No. I strong," she whispered. "But they chase me. I need you." He knelt in front of her to be at eye level. "Who are they?" he asked softly. "Who is chasing you?" She searched his face for a moment as if weighing every word. "They are Kryn Dominion. They hunt me for what I have. I must not let them take it. Protect me." He frowned. "Kryn Dominion? I have never heard of that." The woman's eyes flicked to the window. She leaned forward and whispered, "They are from beyond, planet lost. They build ships. They steal worlds. I escape. I hide on your world. But they find me. I need your help, human. Your world. Your kind. You are different. You strong. I think you can stop them." He shook his head but did not move away. "Aliens? From another world? My world is Earth. You think Kryn Dominion is coming here to find you?" She nodded, eyes full of fear. "Yes, they send hunters. They find me. I come to you because humans help. I see records. Humans help those in trouble. I need you to help me now." He felt his mind spin. He had never believed in aliens. He thought there would be no proof of life beyond Earth. Now, in front of him, was someone who looked real and spoke real words he understood. His voice sounded small and shaky. "Why me? Why my door? This is just my home. I am not special." She reached out and placed a trembling hand on his wrist. Her skin was cool. "You are special. My people watched. They saw humans stand against great evil. You fight even when odds are against you. You can fight for me. You will learn. He gulped and looked at the floor. His mind raced. He was afraid. He had no idea what to do. But in her eyes, he saw hope and trust. He felt a strange pull in his chest. He wanted to help. He stood and took a deep breath. "Okay," he said, voice firmer. "Tell me what I should do. First, we need to find out if anyone came after you. We lock the doors. We close the windows. Then we find a safe place." She nodded, relief washing over her face. She closed her eyes for a moment, and when she opened them, she looked less frightened. "Thank you, human," she whispered. "Thank you." He moved to pull the curtains closed, blocking the dim light of the street lamps. Outside, the rain fell harder. Inside, the room felt small, but his heart felt bigger. He walked to his phone and checked the windows. They were locked, but he tried again just to be sure. She watched him, silent. The soft glow of the lamp illuminated the wet streaks on her face. He gave her a glass of water and sat across from her, trying to calm his racing thoughts. "What is your name?" he asked. She took the glass and sipped slowly. "Lyra," she said. "Lyra Varel of the Velos Confederacy." She set the glass down, her fingers grazing his. "I come from a world far away, but I need Earth now. Please, help me." He nodded. "Lyra, I will do what I can. But first, why are you here of all places? How did you find me?" She touched a small device at her temple. It glowed faintly under her hair. "My ship crashed near here. I watched, I learned. I saw that you live in a place where no one asks many questions. When I fixed my ship's beacon, it led me to you. I hope you would open your door." He swallowed hard. His simple life in a quiet neighborhood felt suddenly like another lifetime. Outside, the thunder rumbled in the distance, as if warning them both of the storm to come. He stared at Lyra, feeling both fear and a rush of determination. He had no idea what lay ahead, but he knew one thing for sure. He would not close his door on this frightened girl. He would protect her, and in doing so, he would change his life forever. He woke before dawn, his mind still buzzing with the memory of Lyra's plea. The rain had stopped, but the sky was gray and low. He crept through his small apartment to check the locks again. Each window was secure, each bolt was in place. He felt a strange mix of fear and purpose. He did not know what lay ahead, but he knew he could not leave Lyra here alone. Lyra sat on the couch, wrapped in a blanket, staring at the window. Her strange clothes were dried now, but she kept the towel around her shoulders as if it were still wet. When he approached, she gave him a small, tired smile. "You are awake," she said in her soft voice. "Good." He nodded and offered her a cup of tea. He had brewed it quietly on the small stove. The kettle hissed and steam rose into the dim light. He handed the cup to Lyra. She held it carefully, breathing in the faint scent. "Warm," she whispered. Then she sipped, and relief showed on her face. Outside, the world was waking. He worried that any moment someone might arrive looking for her. He glanced at his phone. No calls, no messages. The sun would rise soon. He needed to decide on the next step. He placed his hand on Lyra's shoulder. "Lyra, I want to help, but we cannot stay here. We need a safer place." She looked at him gratefully. "Safe place, yes." She paused as if measuring her words. "I know a place. Old subway tunnels. Abandoned. It is hidden. They will not find us there easily." He frowned. "Subway tunnels? That sounds dangerous." He imagined dark, wet tunnels under the city. Strange. But if it meant safety, he felt he had to try. "How do we get there?" Lyra pointed at a worn paper map that lay on the table. She had drawn it from memory when she first escaped. He studied it by the faint morning light. The old subway line ran beneath the city. The entrance was behind a boarded-up building a few blocks away. "We go at first light," she said. "They come in day, but they search near streets. We slip. Underground, they will not see us," he nodded. He poured 2 more cups of tea. They sipped in silence. His heart pounded, but his mind felt clear. He had his plan. Help Lyra reach the tunnels, then find a way to contact someone who could guide them. He had no idea who that person might be, but he felt sure he could find help in the city if he moved quickly and quietly. After breakfast, he packed a small bag, a flashlight, extra batteries, a first aid kit, and some protein bars. He left his phone and wallet behind as he usually did. Lyra did not understand the idea of money, but she watched his movements and nodded. He also grabbed a spare coat and a wool hat for her. She accepted the coat gratefully, wrapping it around her shoulders. It was too large but clean and dry. They slipped out of his apartment without turning on lights. The building was quiet. No neighbors yet. He locked the door and tucked the key in his pocket. Lyra moved close to him. Her eyes flicked to every window, every dark corner. The early morning air was cold, but she did not shiver now that she had a coat. He led her down the empty street. Trash rustled in the wind and the sky threatened more rain. After a few blocks, they reached the boarded-up entrance to the subway. The walls were covered in graffiti and the metal doors were rusted shut. Lyra searched for a moment before stepping to the side. She pressed a small glowing device against a section of the boards. A soft hum sounded, and a hidden latch clicked. One panel swung open, revealing a narrow stairwell slipping into darkness. He swallowed and flipped on his flashlight. A faint beam stretched down the stairs. He reached for Lyra's hand to guide her. She hesitated for a heartbeat, then let him lead. They descended carefully. The air grew damp and cool. The scent of mildew and old concrete filled his nose. He thought he heard the drip of water somewhere below. At the bottom, the corridor widened. Old wires hung from the ceiling, and tiles lay broken on the floor. The faint echo of their footsteps bounced off the walls. Lyra closed the hidden door behind them, and he heard a soft click as it latched. He exhaled, a small rush of relief. "We are safe here for now," Lyra said in a whisper. He nodded, though he still felt tense. He trained his flashlight ahead. He could see rusty train tracks and a curved tunnel leading deeper underground. They walked slowly, following Lyra's direction. Her implant pulsed in sync with her steps, casting a dim glow under her hair. She moved with caution, pointing out loose sections of floor and places where the tunnel narrowed. He followed closely, alert for any sound of footsteps above. He felt responsible for her safety, and he did not want to fail her. After a few minutes, they reached a wider chamber. Empty bench seats lined the walls, and a broken sign bore the faded name of the station. Lyra knelt by a patch of cracked concrete and pressed her glowing device again. The floor shifted, revealing a hidden space beneath. She motioned for him to stand back. She placed her palm on the ground and a low hum filled the chamber. A trapdoor slid open smoothly, exposing a narrow shelter below. He could see old supplies, a stack of blankets, some canned food, and a battered radio set. "This was once a safe house," Lyra explained. "Before Kryn came, refugees used this place." Her voice was soft and filled with sadness. "It has been quiet for years." He helped her climb into the shelter. He explored the small room, checking supplies. The blankets were dusty but usable. The canned food was old but likely safe. He opened the radio set and saw a label. Starbridge Coalition Frequency. Lyra's eyes lit up. "They will hear us if we send a signal," she said. "Then others can come." He set the flashlight on a ledge. "First, we need to rest," he said. "Then we can figure out how to use this radio." He found some matches and lit a small lantern. The dim light cast shadows on the walls, making the shelter feel less like an abandoned station and more like a hidden home. Lyra sat on one of the blankets, pulling it around her. He sat beside her, placing the teacup on a flat rock. "You are brave, human," Lyra said quietly. "You have risked much to bring me here." He shook his head. "I do not know if I am brave. I only know I could not leave you alone." He looked at her, her face illuminated by the soft glow from her implant. "Tell me more about your people," he said. "Tell me what I need to know." Lyra closed her eyes, breathing slowly. My world fell to the Kryn Dominion. They destroyed everything we built. I escaped with this relic. She touched the small device at her temple. It holds a power that can help protect worlds, but I must deliver it to Starbridge. Humans can use it in a way other species cannot. They trust you because you understand freedom. You will help. He touched the relic's faint glow, feeling its strange warmth. He nodded. I will help. Tell me what I must do next. Lyra opened her eyes, relief shining in her gaze. Tomorrow we send a signal on this radio. Then we wait for a guide to come. But we must stay hidden until then. The Kryn hunters will search the streets. They do not know about this place. Looked around the shelter. Though it was dusty, it felt safe. He felt a spark of hope. If they could hold out until help arrived, they might stand a chance. He took a deep breath and settled down on the blanket. Outside, the city stirred. Above them, the weight of the unknown world pressed down. But here, in this hidden chamber, two strangers, one human, one alien, prepared to change the fate of worlds. The shelter was quiet, but neither of them slept much. The human checked the old radio many times, turning its knobs, listening to static and hoping to catch a voice. Lyra guided him, telling him which buttons to press and what signals to send. She believed the Starbridge Coalition would hear them. By the second morning, they were both tired but alert. He made tea using an old camp stove he found near the supply crates. Lyra sat by the radio, her eyes focused, her hands moving quickly. Suddenly, the radio clicked. A voice came through, crackling and faint but clear enough. We received your signal. Stay in place. Kryn activity detected. A guide will arrive in 48 hours. Do not expose location. Lyra looked up at him with a mix of relief and fear. They heard us. Help is coming. But we must stay hidden. He nodded. We can do that. But the world above was not going to wait quietly. That same afternoon, the human climbed a ladder to peek through a small grate near the street level. From behind the shadows, he saw something that chilled him. Two tall figures in black armor were walking slowly down the alley. Their armor reflected no light. Their helmets had red lenses that scanned everything. They're here, he whispered, after climbing back down. They're looking for you. Lyra's face turned pale. Hunters. Kryn soldiers. They don't know exactly where we are, not yet, he said. But they're close. They made a quick plan. If the Kryn came into the subway tunnels, they would move deeper underground through a maintenance shaft. It wasn't safe, but it was the only option. Later that evening, the sound of footsteps echoed through the upper tunnels. Heavy. Metal. The key. Human and Lyra froze. Lights flickered as if sensing the wrong energy. The air grew cold. He turned off the lantern and grabbed the flashlight. We move now, he said quietly. They hurried through a narrow passage that Lyra remembered from her first time in the tunnel. The old station behind them fell into silence. Then, a loud crash echoed through the chamber they had just left. The sound of metal boots stepping on concrete sent shivers down their backs. The Kryn had found the first chamber. Go, go, he whispered, leading Lyra by the hand. The path ahead was dark and tight. Old pipes hung from the ceiling and the walls were slick with water. The flashlight flickered but stayed on. As they moved forward, the human looked back once and saw a faint red light behind them. The Kryn were following. They reached a fork. In the tunnel. Lyra stopped and pressed her hand against a panel in the wall. A hidden door opened with a soft click. Inside was a small space, a forgotten service room. They slipped in and closed the panel just as the red light grew brighter in the distance. In the dark, they held their breath. Outside, they heard the slow, steady steps of Kryn soldiers passing by. 1, 2, 3. Then silence. They didn't see us, he whispered. Lyra nodded, trying to keep calm. This place, it is very old. They don't know it well. We have advantage. They waited for a long time, then carefully left the room and took another path deeper into the tunnels. At last, They reached a wider chamber, this one older and untouched. Here, Lyra said, they could rest. The Kryn would not look this far. Not. Yet he lit a candle. Its small flame lit the dusty space. They sat side by side, catching their breath. You are brave, Lyra said, her voice quiet. I was scared, he admitted. Still am. But you acted. That is what matters. He looked at her. Why do they want you so badly? She touched the glowing implant on her temple. This holds a relic, a gift from my people, a type of knowledge. It can teach worlds to defend themselves, to block Kryn technology. They want it destroyed. But if I give it to Starbridge, the balance will change. Many worlds will be safe again. He stared at the implant. And it only works if a human helps? Yes, she said. Your kind can use the core in a way no other species can. Your thinking is flexible, unpredictable. The Kryn fear that. He didn't know what to say. He had always thought of himself as ordinary, just a man with a quiet life and no big dreams. But now, this strange girl from another world was telling him that humans had something the galaxy needed. He looked around the dark tunnel. We have 2 days, he said. We just need to survive that long. Lyra smiled slightly. We will. They sat in silence again. The candle's light flickered on the tunnel walls, painting shadows that danced like ghosts. The city above them carried on, cars, people, lights. But deep below, in the forgotten tunnels, something far greater was happening. A human and an alien, hiding from a force that could crush planets. And yet, for the first time, he felt they had a chance. The tunnel was quiet again, but the air still felt heavy. The human and Lyra had moved deeper into the subway system, far below the noise of the city. They were tired, hungry, and cold, but alive, and for now, safe. He lit another candle. The small flame helped them see the old room better. The walls were covered in dust and pieces of broken metal. There were signs that someone had once stayed here, a few cans of food, a cracked mirror, and an old blanket folded in a corner. Lyra touched the wall with her palm. Her implant glowed softly. This place. It was used long ago. Refugees from other worlds. They hid here too. The human looked around. Do you think they're still alive? Some, maybe, she said. Some were taken by Kryn. Some escaped. The ones who escaped? They joined the Starbridge Coalition. He nodded slowly. And now we wait for the coalition to help us. Lyra smiled slightly. Yes, but we are not alone anymore. He raised an eyebrow. What do you mean? She pressed 2 fingers to her temple. Her implant blinked 3 times. Then from deep within the tunnels came footsteps, light, careful, and fast. The human jumped up, holding his flashlight like a weapon, but Lyra placed a hand on his arm. It's okay, she whispered. Out of the shadows, a group of figures appeared. Strange shapes, tall, short, some with extra limbs, others with smooth, glowing eyes, aliens. But they did not look like enemies. They looked tired and kind. Some wore old cloaks. Some had simple tools or weapons on their backs. One of them, a small creature with green skin and wide black eyes, stepped forward. You are the one who sent the signal? He asked in a soft voice. Lyra nodded. Yes, I am Lyra Verrill. This is the human who helped me. His name is Jay. Jay was surprised to hear his name spoken by someone from another world. He nodded politely. Hello? The green-skinned alien gave a small bow. I am Raylo. These are friends. We have been hiding in these tunnels for a long time. When we heard your signal, we knew we had to come. Another figure, tall and covered in thick armor, stepped forward. Her voice was deep. The Kryn are here, yes? Yes, Lyra said. They are hunting me. They want the relic I carry. The armored alien looked at Jay. And you protect her? Jay nodded. Yes, I didn't plan for this, but I couldn't leave her alone. The group of aliens looked at each other and then back at him. A quiet respect filled the room. It was clear. They trusted him now. They had seen many worlds fall. But rarely did they see humans stand and protect. They sat together, sharing what little food they had. One of the aliens, with 4 arms and large goggles, opened a small box. Inside were energy cells, tools, and a few glowing pieces of metal. I can repair the old radio, he said. Make it stronger. If the Kryn blocks signals, we will break through. Jay watched in wonder. He had never imagined seeing something like this, aliens working together in an old subway tunnel under his city. It felt like something out of a movie, but it was real. As the aliens worked, Lyra sat beside him. This is the strength of the coalition, she said. Many species, many minds, but one goal, freedom. Jay nodded slowly. And you think humans can be part of this? I know it, she said. You helped me. You risked everything. That is what the coalition needs. Later that night, one of the aliens stood guard while the others rested. Jay could not sleep. He sat beside Relo, the green-skinned leader. You think we'll survive this? Jay asked quietly. Relo looked up. His eyes blinked slowly. If we stand together, yes. Alone, no one can face the Kryn, but united, we can. Jay thought for a moment. I don't know how to fight. I'm just a normal guy. Relo smiled. That's what makes you special. The Kryn think only warriors can change the galaxy, but sometimes it's the ones who never trained for war who surprise them the most. In the early hours of morning, the radio blinked. The signal was strong now. A voice came through again, this time louder and clearer. Starbridge Scout. Ship approaching. Hold your position. Avoid all contact with Kryn patrols. Extraction in 24 hours. Lyra looked at Jay. We just have to survive one more day. Jay nodded. He stood and looked around the tunnel. The walls were still old and cracked, but now they felt different. Not just a place to hide, but a place where hope had returned. He didn't know what the next day would bring. Maybe danger, maybe battle. But he knew this. He was no longer just a man hiding in a city. He was part of something bigger, and for Lyra, for the aliens who had lost their homes, for Earth, he would not run. Morning came slowly. Deep underground, the sunlight never reached, but everyone could feel the change. The air felt different. The silence was heavier. Something was coming. Jay stood near the old station platform. He held a flashlight in one hand and a metal pipe in the other. It wasn't much, but it gave him some comfort. He looked around at the others, Lyra, Relo, the 4-armed engineer named Tak, and the armored scout called Sira. They were quiet, focused, and ready. The radio had sent a final message. At dawn, scout ship delayed. Kryn patrols detected near exit point. Wait for signal. Stay low. Jay looked at Lyra. We can't wait too long, right? Lyra nodded. They're searching the city. If they find the old station above us, they will block our exit. Sira stepped forward. There is another path, she said. An old surface rail line. It's not safe, but it's fast. We used it long ago to escape a Kryn patrol. We could try it. Relo looked unsure. Too open, too easy to track. But also the only chance, Jay said quietly. They all knew the risk. The Kryn were not just looking for Lyra. They wanted the relic, the secret knowledge inside her implant. If they caught her, they would destroy it. And then many worlds would fall. Jay looked at the map drawn on the tunnel wall. Where does the rail line lead? Tak pointed. Old cargo station. It has open ground above. If the scout ship arrives, it can land there. Jay took a deep breath. Then let's move. The group moved quickly through the lower tunnels. Jay led the way with his flashlight, avoiding loose stones and broken cables. Lyra walked close behind him, her eyes scanning every shadow. The others followed silently, weapons ready. Soon they reached a large metal door. It had rusted over time, but Tak used his tools to open it. On the other side was a narrow stairwell leading up to the old surface rail line. Jay climbed up first. The stairwell opened into a forgotten rail yard. Nature had taken over. Grass pushed through the cracks, vines covered the walls, and rusted tracks stretched into the distance. It was quiet. Too quiet. They moved carefully across the yard. Sira used her visor to scan the area. "No Kryn signals nearby," she said, "but we must move fast." Jay helped Lyra over a fallen beam. They were halfway across the yard when he heard it, a sharp, mechanical sound, like metal claws on concrete. He turned. From behind an old train car, 3 Kryn soldiers stepped out. Their black armor shone in the weak light. Their eyes glowed red. "Run!" Jay shouted. The group split. Tak and Relo moved right. Sira opened fire from the left, and Jay pulled Lyra behind a pile of crates. Blaster fire lit up the yard. The Kryn soldiers moved quickly, but the aliens fought back with speed and teamwork. Jay peeked over the crates. "We need to distract them." Lyra pulled a small device from her belt. "Take this," she said, handing it to Jay. "It creates a flash. Throw it over there." Jay nodded. He waited for the right moment, then tossed the device toward the far end of the yard. It exploded with a bright light and loud noise. The Kryn soldiers turned their heads for just 1 second, but it was enough. Sira hit one with a direct shot, sending him flying. Tak ran forward using his tools as weapons, knocking down another. The last Kryn soldier raised his blaster, aiming at Lyra. Jay didn't think. He acted. He jumped in front of her, swinging the metal pipe. It hit the soldier's arm, knocking the blaster away. The Kryn turned and grabbed Jay by the collar, lifting him off the ground. Jay struggled, his heart racing. The soldier's grip was strong. Too strong. Then a beam of blue light shot through the air. The soldier froze, then dropped Jay and fell backward. Lyra stood behind him, her hand glowing with energy. Her implant flashed once, then faded. Jay coughed and sat up. You saved me." She smiled. "You saved me first." After the fight, the group quickly reached the edge of the rail yard. Smoke still hung in the air. They were bruised, tired, but alive. Suddenly, the radio on Sira's wrist beeped. "Scout ship arriving. Coordinates locked. Prepare for pickup." They looked up. In the sky, hidden by clouds, something shimmered. A cloaked ship coming in slowly. The air changed. Wind blew across the yard. Dust swirled as the ship appeared, its smooth silver body reflecting the light. Jay stared in wonder. "It's real," he whispered. The ship landed gently. A ramp lowered. Figures stepped out, humans and aliens, all wearing Starbridge symbols. One of them waved. "Come on, we don't have long." Lyra looked at Jay. "This is our way out." He looked back at the yard, then at the others. "We made it." They climbed the ramp together. As the ship rose into the sky, Jay looked down at the city below. It felt like leaving one life behind and starting a new one. He didn't know what waited ahead, but he knew this much. He had stood his ground, faced fear, and protected someone who needed him, and now he was part of something much bigger. Rio. Scout ship flew high above the clouds, quiet and smooth like a bird. Jay sat near a wide window looking down at the shrinking city. Buildings became small dots. Roads became thin lines. He had lived there all his life, and now he was leaving it behind. Beside him sat Lyra, her hands folded in her lap. Her face looked calm, but her eyes were full of thought. Across from them sat Sira, Tak, and Relo. The Starbridge crew members moved through the ship, checking controls and speaking in quiet voices. Jay still felt like he was dreaming. He turned to Lyra. "So, where are we going?" Lyra pointed to a small screen above the window. It showed a group of stars and a blinking dot. "A hidden base," she said. "Far from Earth. A place where the Coalition trains people. We will be safe there for now." Jay nodded. "And after that?" Lyra looked at him. "After that, we prepare for what's coming." The ship landed on a quiet moon. Its surface was gray and rocky, but under it was something special. a hidden base built by the Starbridge Coalition. The group entered through a tunnel, lit by soft blue lights. Inside were clean halls, glowing screens, and people from many worlds working together. Jay looked around in awe. So many aliens, so many languages. A human in a blue uniform greeted them. "Welcome. I'm Captain Reed. You must be Jay, the human who helped Lyra." Jay felt shy but nodded. "That's me." Captain Reed smiled. "You've done more than help. You've given us hope." Over the next few days, Jay stayed in a small room on the base. It was simple but comfortable. He ate meals with the others, joined meetings, and asked questions. He was learning fast. One evening, he joined a group in a large room full of screens and maps. Lyra stood beside a round table showing a glowing model of a planet. "This is one of the next targets of the Kryn Dominion," she said. "If we do nothing, they will attack within weeks." Jay looked at the model. "How can we stop them?" Lyra touched her implant. "With this. The relic inside my implant holds ancient data. It shows how to block Kryn technology. But only a human can unlock it fully." Jay blinked. "Why me? Why humans?" Captain Reed stepped forward. "We've studied the data. It's true. The code inside the relic reacts to human thought patterns, our choices, our feelings, something in us. Makes the system work." Jay looked down at his hands. "But I'm not a soldier. I'm just a regular guy." Lyra smiled. "That's why it works. The relic chooses someone with a heart, not just skill. And you risked your life for me. That's enough." Jay took a deep breath. "Okay, what do I have to do?" They led him to a quiet room with a glowing chair in the center. Screens surrounded it. Lyra stood beside him. "Sit here. Close your eyes. Trust your thoughts." Jay sat down slowly. The chair hummed softly. Lights wrapped around his head. He closed his eyes. He felt warmth, like sunlight on his face. In his mind, images flashed, stars, maps, machines, and voices. He saw Lyra's world before it fell. He saw other planets that needed help. He saw hope. Suddenly, the room's lights blinked. The screens lit up with new data. A soft voice spoke. "Relic unlocked. Human link established." Captain Reed clapped his hands. "You did it!" Jay opened his eyes. He felt strange, but strong, like a door had opened inside his mind. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. "Now we can begin." The next day, they shared the unlocked data with other coalition bases. It spread fast across space. The information showed how to build shields that could block Kryn signals, how to stop their ships from landing, and how to protect cities. One by one, small worlds began to stand up. They weren't alone anymore. They had knowledge. They had allies. And they had humans on their side. Jay watched the progress from the base's command room. He saw messages from planets thanking him. He saw people cheering in the streets. He couldn't believe it. A few days ago, he was just a man in a quiet apartment. Now his actions were helping save entire worlds. Late that night, Jay walked outside onto the moon's surface. He wore a simple spacesuit, but the sky above was clear. Stars stretched forever. Lyra joined him. She stood beside him in silence. Looked at her. "Do you think we really made a difference?" She nodded. "Yes, and it started the night I knocked on your door." Jay smiled. "I'm glad I opened it." They stood there together, two people from different worlds, now part of something much bigger. The battle wasn't over. The Kryn would return. But now the galaxy had a chance. And it started because a human chose to help. Because sometimes the edge humans have isn't power or weapons. The secret base on the moon had changed. More people arrived. Humans, aliens, scientists, and soldiers. The halls were full of voices, ideas, and new hope. Thanks to the information unlocked from Lyra's relic, worlds that had once been weak were now building strong defenses. Jay became a part of the team. He still felt like a normal guy, but others looked at him with respect now. They called him the human who answered the door. Some even called him the one who turned the tide. But Jay didn't want fame. He only wanted peace for Lyra, for Earth, and for the many people he had come to care about. One morning, Captain Reed called him to the main command room. "Jay," he said with a proud smile, "it's time." Jay looked confused. Time? For what? Time to return to Earth. Jay blinked. Really? Yes, Reed said. The Coalition wants Earth to join. But Earth's leaders don't know the full truth yet. You've lived there. You're one of them. And you've seen everything. We want you to speak for us. Jay looked at Lyra, who stood nearby. She smiled gently. You are the bridge between our worlds. They will listen to you. The journey back to Earth felt different this time. Jay sat near the window again, but now he wasn't just a passenger. He was a messenger. A link between Earth and the stars. The ship landed in a quiet military zone just outside the city. Jay and Lyra were greeted by a team of Earth officers and government people. At first they looked unsure, but once Jay spoke, they listened carefully. He told them everything. How Lyra had come to his door, how the Kryn were hunting her, how the Coalition helped her escape, and how humans played a special role in the galaxy. He even showed them the relic's effects, how it responded to human minds. For a moment, the room was silent. Then one of the leaders stood up. You're telling us humans are needed out there? That we have a chance to help other worlds? Yes, Jay said. And in return, they'll help us too. Together, we're stronger. Earth doesn't have to be alone anymore. After a long meeting, Earth's leaders agreed to speak with the Coalition. Secret talks began. Scientists from Earth started working with Starbridge experts. Slowly, a plan was made to build a new center on Earth, a place where humans and aliens could meet, learn, and protect one another. Months passed. Jay returned to his old city, but it wasn't the same. His small apartment stood where it always had, but his life had changed forever. One morning, he opened the same door where Lyra had first knocked, but this time she stood there not afraid but smiling. Ready? She asked. He nodded. Always. They walked together through the city streets. People still didn't know the full story, but they could feel something had shifted. Strange lights in the sky were no longer just dreams. Strange visitors were no longer just stories. Jay and Lyra arrived at a large open space in the center of the city. Workers were building something new, a tall tower with smooth silver walls and a glowing blue light at the top. This was the new Earth Starbridge Embassy, a symbol of friendship and unity. Children gathered near the fence watching the work. One boy looked up at Jay. Are aliens real? He asked. Jay smiled. Yes, and many of them are our friends now. The boy grinned and ran to tell his friends. Jay turned to Lyra. We've come a long way. She nodded. And this is just the beginning. On the day of the grand opening, people from all around the world came. News cameras filmed the event. A Coalition ship hovered above, shining light down like a second sun. Jay stepped onto the stage, heart pounding. Lyra stood beside him. Captain Reed and others watched from the crowd. He took a deep breath and spoke into the mic. Not long ago, I was just a normal man. I had a quiet life. I never imagined I would meet someone from another world. But one night, someone knocked on my door. She was afraid. She asked me to protect her. And I said yes. That choice led to something bigger. Together we faced danger. We ran. We fought. And we survived. Now we're not running anymore. We're building, learning, sharing. Earth is not alone. And we never have to be again. The galaxy is big. And yes, it can be scary. But it's also full of hope. And sometimes, all it takes to start something great is to open your door and say, I will help. The crowd cheered. Lyra looked at Jay, her eyes bright. You did it. Jay shook his head. We did it.